Buenos días, segundo año. ¿Cómo está? Muy bien, gracias. ¿Y tú? Muy bien, gracias, muy bien. So, hoy, vamos a hablar de cumpleaños. Sí, cumpleaños, ¿hay cumpleaños? Feliz cumpleaños a ti, feliz cumpleaños a ti. Yes, birthday, sí. Una pausa, hablamos inglés. Okay, yes. We're going to talk just a little bit, okay, not too much, because festividades are coming, the holidays, sí, festividades, sí. And I have a little story there for you too for festividades, so check it out, okay, ¿está bien? Now, just a quick thing, because we're going to go back to this again, okay, en el próximo año 2021, okay, 2021. Now, I just wanted to clarify one important thing for you. You know, since we're English-speaking people, which means, you know, we use the English language as our main language. We use it all the time. You know, when we write a date, we always start with the month. So you remember that from the lesson yesterday, right? So if I wanted to write today's date, December 22nd, 2020, right? So 12, 20, 20. 12, 22nd, 20. Okay? Now, in Espanol, dates are flipped. You start with the date, you put the month, and then the year. Now, when you're saying your cumpleaños, it's the same thing. So you have to start with the day first. So you cannot say in Espanol your month first because people get confused. They don't understand what you're trying to say. Okay? So, for example, if you ask me, Señor Souza, ¿cuándo es tu cumpleaños? I will tell you, mi cumpleaños es 9 de julio. Right? July, if you remember Jota, right? Like Jose. So we say Julio. So, mi cumpleaños, Señor Souza, cumpleaños es el 9 de julio. See? So I say the day first. Then I say de, which means of. Okay? July. Julio. So, 9 de julio. So, otra vez. Señor Souza, ¿cuándo es tu cumpleaños? Mi cumpleaños es el 9 de julio. Or you can just say, mi cumpleaños es 9 de julio. Okay? 9 de julio. Mi cumpleaños, 9 de julio. So, that's the important thing. Alright? So, I want you to think about that. We were going to tackle a little more of this. And remember, it's a little confusing because in English, we wouldn't do that. Right? In English, we would put July 9th. But now, in Espanol, you don't even have to say the 9th. Like, you know, July 9th? No. It's just the number 9. Okay, so 9 de julio. So a good idea is to count to 31. That's a good idea. Count to 31. Okay, or 31 in Spanish. Okay? So let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you see, I count to 1 to 10, and my number is 9. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31. So one of those numbers is the way to start your birthday. So let's say that you're from the 31st. 31 de enero, febrero, marzo, abril, mayo, junio, julio, agosto, septiembre, octubre, noviembre, diciembre. Okay? So you have to think about that. 15 de julio, 15 de noviembre, 15 de agosto, 15 de marzo. Piensa. Okay? Piensa. Think about that. Okay? Piensa. Alright? And don't go anywhere, right? Listen to the story that I have to tell you. ¿Está bien? Es una historia de festividad. Alright? So it's a little story of my experience as a holidays for me when I was growing up, when I was about your age, 2nd grade. Okay, so I used to do this every year. ¿Está bien? Buenas festividad. Escucha que la viene la historia. Alright, so listen, the story is coming. So, escucha que la viene la historia. Here I am, back into my basement, okay? Right now, I actually, you know what, I don't have much for you to do. And, you know, it's the holidays, so let's take it a little tranquilo. But I want to tell you a little story, okay? Since it's the holidays, what I would like you to do today, I'd like you to write something in English. It don't have to be in Espanol, okay? If you feel like going to write in Espanol, that's fine with me. But I'm going to tell you a little story, okay? Maybe if you're my student in the past, you've probably heard that story. But for some of you, that's a new story. But it's something of one of my very fond memories about my holidays, okay? So, maybe you don't remember that, but I am from Brazil. So, in Brazil, they don't speak Spanish. They speak Portuguese. So, I learned Spanish when I moved to this country many, many years ago. Okay, because I went to school here and I studied Spanish here. I never learned Spanish in Brazil. Nobody spoke Spanish that I knew. I never, ever had a friend that spoke Spanish. So, it was only Portuguese. Okay? But anyway, when I was a kid, from, you know, first, second, third, all the way up to 5th, 6th grade, we still did that, okay? One of the traditions in my country, in Brazil, when I was growing up, it was, in the holidays, was the New Year's. Yes, New Year's evening. It was the most looking forward holiday of the year. And I'll tell you why. If you remember, if you think about the holidays, and sur, right, is the tropics, which means it's verano. So it's no winter, it's verano. So right now in Brazil, it's summer. So they're just starting summer tomorrow, right? 21st. Oh, today. Yes, they're starting summer today. Today is officially 21st is the first day of summer. So you're watching this movie on the 22nd. I'm doing it on the 21st. So it's the summer. Now, the beauty of being summer and the holidays is that you spend a lot of times outside because it's nice and hot weather. So what we used to do, when I told you, you know, between my 1st and 6th grade, our favorite holiday was to go and wish people a very happy beginning of the year. And we used to go knocking on the door of somebody after midnight. Yes, that was the crazy thing about it. It was me, 4 or 5 friends, and we were walking on the streets at midnight. It was unbelievable. You know, at midnight you're walking on the streets, just kids, knocking on the door, and then we would say, Próspero Ano Novo, which means a prosperous new year, and people had to give you money. Yes, cash. Woo-hoo-hoo. If they didn't give you cash, it was a sign of bringing bad luck for the year. So everybody would give you some cash. Of course, people didn't give you, a $20 bill, you know. It was just like a little token. But we were allowed to walk out on the streets all the way to the morning. So we probably would do that if we had a chance, you know. So we would walk like 4 o'clock in the morning. And the funny thing is that at that time, people used to deliver bread and milk to the houses. And sometimes we would knock it in the house and somebody was delivering the bread and the person on the house would give us the bread. Say, take that bread with you, you know, or take that bottle of milk, something. And it was a lot of fun. Now, when we come back home, okay, we spend all the way to 5 o'clock in the morning. But, 3 o'clock in the morning, we were still there walking on the street. We would have this little bag of money. So it was kind of like, trick-or-treating here, right? When you go and get your candy on a Halloween. But ours was cash. So, you have this big bag of change. And what we could do is we have to give it to mom or dad, okay? But then we were allowed to put our hand inside the bag and take a handful of it and go and buy candy. Yes. That's what we did. So usually on New Year's Day, all the candy stores were open because the kids would run in there with those big bunch of change and buy candy. So that's a memory from my childhood, okay? So New Year's was a big celebration for us in Brazil. Not a lot of towns do this anymore, but I heard that some small towns inside the states in Brazil, they still do that. They still keep that tradition. So, do you have a tradition to share? Do you do anything special during the holidays that you would like to share with us? So, write down 1 or 2 sentences, okay? I would love to hear it. I would love to read. And, those things, they stick to us. Like, my story from when I was growing up with the holidays. That's the one that I never forgot. Okay? Alright, so buenas festividades. Okay, that means good holidays. Y hasta la próxima. Nos vemos en 2021. Sí, 2021. Otro año. Adiós, clase.